Welcome to another online video from Zend. One of the questions that I'm, sometimes asked is, Kevin, how do we actually go about doing some kind of load testing for our application? Load testing is something that's relatively important for any organization that's going to be having a publicly facing website. What actually happens when you throw load at a website? Is it something that's going to blow up and immediately, send your business into a tailspin? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you a really quick and simple way of actually doing that. I've got my website up here, up and running on my local machine here. Technically what you'd want to do is you'd want to take this and have this installed in a testing environment or a staging environment, or some place where you can actually test to see whether or not your application can handle your load. Your desktop is not the best way of doing it, but here we're just doing an example of it. So the thing that you want to do first of all is create a session or a series of requests that are representative of what a typical browser would end up doing. So we've got a version of the website that I was working on here. This is not going to be one that you'll see, as this was kind of a play one. But we see the front page here. And so what we're going to want to do is just simulate a couple of requests. So we would load up the front page. Maybe we'd go down to this one, maybe click on something, or things like that. What you want to do is you want to get that into a scenario that you can use and actually cause your application to run several times over really fast using that load testing software. So what I'm going to be using here is JMeter from the Apache Software Foundation. It's actually really easy to use. When I first started using it, it was actually quite difficult because it was next to impossible to easily set up a scenario. But they've actually made a couple of changes in there that's actually made it extremely easy now. So we'll go to our bin directory here of our download, and this is our batch file, so we will load this up, and here you have JMeter up and running. So what we're going to do, we're just going to right click on our test plan and go to add and look for not on test plan, under workbench. Right click and do non-test element. And we're going to set up an HTTP proxy server. It's just a basic proxy server that you can use to kind of sit in between your requests. And what this is going to do is it's actually going to capture those requests and store them here in JMeter so that you can run them many times over. It doesn't work so well with HTTPS. The reason being that HTTPS should not be interceptable. So what you can do if you want to be using HTTPS is that you can leave it on the same port, but click on Attempt HTTPS Spoofing. What that will do is that you make your request to a regular HTTP website, or actually to the proxy here. You make a regular HTTP request to the proxy, and then what it will do is it'll actually initiate that HTTPS setting, or that HTTPS request. So that allows you to spoof that HTTPS request and then test things using secure sockets. But we're not going to be doing that. So what we are going to do is, now that we have Apache up and running, I'm actually going to click on Start here to make sure that we have our proxy server up and running. I'm going to go to my browser now. I'm going to go to Tools, and I'm going to go to Advanced Network. You can do this for IE, Firefox, Chrome, Safari, whatever you want to do. You can usually set up some kind of a proxy server. So you go to that, and then you go to Settings, and what we're going to do is we're going to specify Manual Proxy, and you'll sometimes see no proxy for localhost or something like that. We're going to leave that blank because this is actually running on the local host. We don't want to have any kind of exceptions. We want to have everything going through there. So we'll just click on OK. Click on OK again, and then this time what we're going to do is I'm going to do a shift refresh, so basically you get a cleared browser cache, a shift refresh, and we see a whole bunch of stuff there. If we go now to our JMeter, you see a whole bunch of stuff that has now been added on there. There's a couple of things that we're probably going to want to take out of here, but we'll set those up afterwards. So what we're going to do here is go to one of our machines here. We'll go down to the bottom. We're going to simulate this kind of a request because this is an AJAX call. And if you got any AJAX on there, you want to make sure that you capture some of those. So we'll go down and we'll click for more. And okay, we got a couple here. And so we'll go to this one, unit testing, zend-server, PHP job queue actions. Hopefully I don't have any comments on here, which I do not, which is actually good, because what I want to do is I actually want to post a comment as well. So I'll go here and I'll say, hey, my name is Kevin Schrader. My email address is kevin@zend.com, and this is an awesome article. And I'll go down here and set the bits for 11 and hit submit. Then after that, we'll refresh, and we see that the article is actually there. So we've got a little bit of information here now that we can use to do this. So we'll go to JMeter and click on stop. You'll see that we have a whole bunch of requests here. So what we now need to do is go in here and start trimming them. These ones are all Amazon ones, which that's an Amazon one as well. So we'll remove. So what I could have done is just said I didn't want Amazon to do it, but offset images. Okay, delete that. All right, so localhost again. Now let's go. I didn't do that one, so we'll delete that. Another widgets one. And there's our post comment. We open this up, you'll see that we can actually see all the post parameters that were actually made. So you can go in there, you'll modify these as necessary. This is actually probably going to break because of my mechanism for doing CAPTCHA on there. This one is localhost. Localhost. All right, let's go down here a little bit further. Get rid of some of the Amazon stuff because again, or TweetMeme, or Gravatar, or a whole bunch of things. Down here. Editor, site, images. This looks like we've got most. We don't need YouTube, don't need Facebook either, so let's remove these. Actually, these are all from there as well. Delete that. Delete. Dig. So a couple things. You see, it's more. This part's actually really easy. It's just kind of something that's kind of a pain to go through. All right, so go through, make sure that we don't have anything that is not localhost. Of course, if you did this on your own system, you'd be able to remove stuff like this. And button, don't need that. Cross domain, don't need that. Don't need that. All right, go through here again. And I believe, yep, we've got them all. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to my test plan, go to add, I'm going to add a thread group. Then what I'm going to do, select all this stuff, drag, insert as child. Oops, I need to cut and paste. There we go. Don't know where this one is, so we'll just drop it in here as a, so it would have to be done anyways. So now what we have is a thread group. And so what we want to do then is test this. And the way we test that is go by on start here. We run it once, and we won't save our test plan. And up here you saw that we had a quick green light. That was one thread that actually ran through the whole thing. And what we're going to do here as well, while we have it running, let's run proc PC Process Explorer on here because this is a Windows system. And we see some stuff in there, so let's do 10 users. And of course you'll see that we have start. We'll hit start again. Nah, we're not going to run it. You see the threads being started up and then dropping down. And you see that spike there in usage. So it actually looks like it's running relatively quickly. Kind of interesting, not bad, but we're not quite ready to go yet. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to right click on here and I'm going to add a listener. A listener allows you to do things like graphs and things like that. So it's not that. It gives you some information here. So I will view results in a table. Is this what I'm looking for? And then hit start. And there you see all the requests that have gone on, the number of bytes, the sample time. You can see, we don't have network overhead, so it's not that big of a deal. So that's, you see our paginating there. Again, get a couple hundred milliseconds, not that big of a deal. All right, let's have a little bit of fun then. Actually, not quite yet. Let's add one more listener, and that is going to be not full results. Let's see, I think it's Spline Visualizer. Let's try this one out. Let's run it. Let's not do that one. Not as interesting. Delete this one, delete that one. Which one should we add? There we go. We'll do this one. I've used this one several times. Which of course you can't see because there's a bunch of stuff, but oh well. Not that big of a deal. We'll just do this one again. All right, so let's see what we can actually do in here. We have a number of threads users. We want to do 100. And let's ramp up over 10 seconds. And we'll start running. You can see down here how my system is now starting to handle it. And if we look down here, you'll see my CGI processes. And actually, this is probably the more interesting graph. So we were done with it, but you see a whole bunch of individual spikes here. Why don't we try doing some other stuff then? 100 users, ramp up period is 10 seconds. We'll do a loop count of, let's do a loop count of 10. Number of users, 150. Just having a little bit of fun here. And you basically watch. 150 threads starting up. Each of them is going to do 10 loops. And you can see here a number of samples, which is apparently stopped. But you can kind of see some of the things that are going on here. Now, you might be looking at this and say, Kevin, you really don't know what you're doing because we have all this stuff that's going up and down and up and down. Actually, this is exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for, can our server handle the types of loads that we're doing? What's going on in these peaks and troughs? What is it that's actually causing that stuff to do? So you can use this then to actually see what's going on in your system. You see here we've done about 10,000, almost 10,000 samples. Yeah, it's a pretty quick computer, partially because of this, because there's actually 8 CPUs in this machine. But anyways, that's really all you need to do to get a basic test run up and running. Now, there's more that you can do if you start have conditional requests that need to be done. Those are things that you can handle, but for the time being, for setting up just a very basic load test, what we've shown right here is pretty much all that you need. So I hope that was useful for you. I hope you also have a good day, and see you again at another online video.